Welcome back to today's Explainer. Ever look at a massive, successful company and wonder, how did that start from just a raw, untested idea? Today, we're unpacking something that is an absolute game changer for modern entrepreneurs. We are literally going to deconstruct the DNA of a successful business using a highly structured visual framework.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to break down exactly what a business model is, unpack the 4 core components of a business, dive deep into the customer value proposition, map it all out on the business model canvas, and finally, look at why this specific framework actually succeeds where others fail.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. What is a business model? Basically, the blueprint of a business.
There's this really profound quote by Silicon Valley entrepreneur Steve Blank. He says, "A startup is a temporary organization in search of a scalable business model." Think about that for a second. The ultimate goal of a brand new venture isn't just to exist, right? Its primary purpose is simply to search for a model that actually works. And once it finds that scalable model, boom, it's no longer a startup. It becomes a real, sustainable organization.
Now, a major trap that so many entrepreneurs fall into is confusing a business model with a business plan. They are entirely different animals. The business model is the active, living logic of how your company creates, delivers, and extracts value. On the flip side, a business plan is a static, formal document, the one outlining your background, financials, and goals. And here's the kicker. You literally cannot write an accurate plan until you've actively validated your model out there in the real world.
So, let's move to Section 2, the 4 core components. Think of this as the anatomy of a living business organism. The absolute first core component is the offering. Think of the offering as the creative spark, or like the gift inside a box. It identifies exactly what products or services you are providing, and more importantly, the actual value it generates. It's the specific solution that helps a customer do something more easily, quickly, or effectively than they ever could before. Simply put, without a really compelling offering, honestly, nothing else matters.
The second component is your customers. If the offering is the gift, well, the customer is the intended recipient. A super common mistake here is thinking, oh, everyone will want my product. But as this framework strictly dictates, you cannot serve everyone. You have to intentionally choose a specific target segment of the market to receive your value. Because if you aren't crystal clear on exactly who your customer is, your entire model is just going to lose focus.
Third, we've got the infrastructure. If the offering is the creative spark, the infrastructure is the engine room constantly running in the background. It represents all the logical, operational resources, your people, technology, suppliers, partnerships, and facilities. Basically, the stuff an entrepreneur absolutely must have in place to actually deliver that promised value to the customer.
And the fourth component is financial viability. This is the fuel that keeps your engine room running. It defines the revenue and cost structures you need just to meet operating expenses. And it's really vital to understand something here. This isn't just about making a ton of money. It's about carefully, meticulously balancing what it costs you to deliver your value against what your customers are actually willing to pay for it.
Moving right along to Section 3, Customer Value Proposition. This is the absolute beating heart of the whole model.
So, the crucial point is that a customer value proposition, or CVP, is only effective if it meets 3 very specific qualities. First up, it has to offer better value than the competition. Think of IKEA. They offered way better value by providing affordable, do-it-yourself kits instead of expensive ready-made pieces. Even if you do end up with one annoying leftover screw. Second, it has to be measurable in monetary terms. You have to prove it's a better financial choice. And third, it must be sustainable over time. Take FedEx, for example. They recognized the massive value in guaranteed overnight delivery, and they totally changed the transportation game in a way they could sustain and scale for decades.
Now, the absolute gold standard for your CVP is what's known as the resonating focus approach. Instead of just throwing a laundry list of product benefits at the wall and seeing what sticks, this approach drills down to exactly what the customer really needs and values the most. It just cuts out all the fluff. It ensures perfect product-market fit because it shows a deep, genuine understanding of the customer's specific problem and explicitly offers the perfect solution to it.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 4, the business model canvas. This is where we expand those core parts and start mapping out the 9 blocks.
To really make sense of this tool, imagine taking a giant canvas and just folding it right down the middle. The right side of your folded canvas is entirely dedicated to value creation. This covers your offering and your customers. It's the creative relationship building side. Now the left side is all about value delivery. That's your infrastructure and cost structure. The logical operational engine room we talked about. When you use this canvas, always focus on the right side first. There is literally no point building complex operations on the left if you haven't established something truly valuable for a specific customer on the right.
And this brilliantly illustrates how it all comes together in the real world. Imagine we're building a youth t-shirt store. Over on the far right, our customer segments are trendy teens and fashion-conscious parents. Moving inward, our value proposition for them is original designs printed on eco-friendly material. How do we reach them? Well, through our channels, the internet, and a physical brick-and-mortar store. Now, hopping over to the left side, to actually deliver this, our key partners are artists and t-shirt suppliers. Our key activities involve managing stock and selecting those cool designs. Finally, down at the bottom, we see our financial viability, the costs of paying the artists and running the store, perfectly balanced against the revenue streams from our online and in-store sales. It's literally an entire business logic mapped out onto a single page.
Which brings us to Section 5, why this framework succeeds. It all comes down to agility over perfection.
See, the business model canvas works precisely because it is not a static, boring document. It visually maps out those 9 interlocking components, sure, but it treats every single completed box simply as a guess. It's just a hypothesis that you need to go out and test in the real world. By separating the business into these distinct, bite-sized blocks, it enables rapid experimentation and iteration. If a specific customer segment just isn't responding, no big deal. You just swap out that one box on your canvas instead of tearing up and rewriting an entire 50-page business plan. Ultimately, this prevents massive financial investment in untested ideas, keeps entrepreneurs super agile, and significantly lowers the risk of failure.
So, what does this all mean for you? It brings us to the ultimate question you have to ask yourself. Knowing that a startup is really just a temporary search for a scalable model, are you offering something people genuinely want? And are you ready to take that idea, map it onto a canvas, and relentlessly test it? Grab a blank canvas, map out your hypotheses, and start testing your way to a successful business. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.